Green Flags only presents the patterns we repeat, why we choose familiar pain. Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is this. We don't always choose what's good for us. Often we choose what feels familiar. And familiar isn't always healthy. Today, we're diving into the emotional psychology behind why people repeat the same painful patterns in love, even when those patterns hurt them. Part 1, where patterns begin. Every relationship pattern is rooted in one thing: emotional memory. People don't fall into toxic cycles by accident. They fall into them because a part of their brain believes this is what love feels like. If you grew up around inconsistency, you may think love is earned. If you grew up around silence, you may think emotions are unsafe. If you grew up around criticism, you may think affection must be worked for. Pain becomes familiar, and familiar becomes normal. Some people confuse emotional tension with passion. Some confuse anxiety with connection. Some confuse desperation with loyalty. Not because they want pain, but because pain is the only language their heart learned early. Part 2, why we choose familiar pain. There are 4 major psychological reasons. 1, the comfort of predictability. The brain loves patterns, even painful ones. Predictability feels safer than the unknown. So someone may stay in a familiar, painful dynamic because the alternative feels terrifying. 2, the illusion of control. When you already know the pattern, you believe you can control or change it. This gives a false sense of power, even though it often leads to deeper heartbreak. 3, the trauma bond loop. High highs and low lows create an addictive cycle. You hold on to the moments of affection because they temporarily relieve the pain. This reinforces a pattern and makes leaving harder. 4, the identity problem. When you internalize pain as part of your identity, healthy love feels foreign, and foreign feels suspicious. Sometimes the real challenge isn't finding a better partner. It's believing you deserve one. Part 3, how patterns play out in adult relationships. These patterns show up as choosing emotionally unavailable partners, mistaking chaos for chemistry, ignoring red flags because they feel normal, staying loyal to situations that drain you, repeating the same arguments in every relationship, feeling responsible for someone else's emotional stability. You're not broken. You're repeating what was modeled for you. Part 4, the moment you wake up. Every healing journey begins with one sentence. This doesn't feel like love anymore. That's the moment the pattern cracks. You start noticing how much peace you gave up, how much of yourself you abandoned, how much emotional labor you carried alone. It's not shameful to realize you repeated a pattern. It's powerful to recognize it, because recognition is the beginning of release. Part 5, breaking pattern. Here's how healing starts. 1, name the pattern. Say it out loud. I choose people who cannot choose me. I confuse inconsistency with love. I repeat what I'm trying to heal from. Naming it breaks its invisibility. 2, understand the origin. Ask, who taught me to love this way? Not to blame, but to understand the blueprint. 3, reteach your nervous system. Healthy love is calm, safe, consistent, predictable in a good way. Your body must learn this new normal. 4, practice emotional boundaries. Patterns survive in environments with no boundaries. They die when you set standards that protect your peace. 5, choose discomfort over familiar pain. Growth feels uncomfortable. Healing feels awkward. But discomfort is temporary. Familiar pain is forever. Part 6, the truth most people avoid. People don't repeat patterns because they are weak. They repeat patterns because their heart is trying to resolve a wound that was never given closure. The pattern isn't your destiny. It's your emotional echo, and you can rewrite it. Part 7, the final message. You deserve a love that doesn't hurt to hold. A love that doesn't demand your self-abandonment. A love that doesn't feel like emotional labor. Healing begins when you stop choosing the version of love that broke you and start choosing the version of love that builds you. You are not meant to repeat the pain. You are meant to break the pattern. Green Flags only, helping you heal, grow, and choose better every day.